Yesterday, I published my take on Ayaan Hirsi Ali's article titled Why I Am Now a Christian, and I commented on how her conversion to Christianity very strangely lacks any references to Jesus, the resurrection, inherited sin, any arguments for God's existence, or any instance of personal revelation. Her conviction, it seems, is based entirely on politics, with her thesis being that Christianity is the only way we can fight against China, Putin, Islam, and wokeism. As I also noted, it's been hard to make sense of Ali's conversion, but lucky for us, the platform that published her article, Unheard, has since published an interview with Ali, wherein she expresses her views. And what we're going to be engaging with is her answer to a great question from the audience. Let's hear it.
I just wonder how you see this sort of role of Christianity fitting in a country where now less than 50% of the population identify as Christian. You have a very large number of non-religious and a very wide range of minority religions. So how would you see this sort of, you said about Christianity being so important, how that fits into civic matters if it's not coerced?
Now, that's an interesting question, right? If over 50% of us in the UK are not Christians, that is, we do not believe that Jesus resurrected, and that the number of us non-believers are increasing, then how is it precisely that Ali expects Christianity to be the only hope of this country moving forward? And how can Christianity play a central role in civic matters without it being forced upon us?
I think if you define Christianity in its narrowest sense, people who accept Jesus Christ, who attend church, etc., you're right about those numbers. But I think if you define it in a much broader term, on a civilizational level, I think you're going to see that most people, even though they say they're not Christian, it's a Christian society still.
So, if we interpret Christianity in its narrow sense, which is to say a Christian is someone who believes in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, his sacrifice, death and resurrection, and the salvation of humanity through faith in him, then yes, Ali admits, the number of non-believers are correct. But if we interpret Christianity as to be everyone who lives in the UK, and the West in general, including those who don't believe in any of the aforementioned, then we're still a Christian society. I'm sorry, Jordan Peterson, but you have been dethroned, my boy.
And great fiction is true, but it never happened.
Ali's Christianity is truly more true than true. It turns out, then, that Ali's conversion really is a miracle. Rather than converting herself to Christianity, she's converted Christianity to herself. Her definition of a Christian explicitly includes non-Christians. Hallelujah. Under her definition, I, living in England under the common liberal values of this country, of which many were won by fighting explicitly against Christianity, am Christian. I'm saved.
It's one of the audience members came to me and talked to me about a book I wrote called Dawah. And Dawah is the propagation, this infrastructure of trying to win hearts and minds towards, and it's done without any violence, towards the teachings of Muhammad. And I think that the only way to fight dawah is counter dawah.
Okay, so Ali is saying that the only way we can fight the peaceful conversion of Islam is to wield the peaceful conversion of Christianity, or at least her very loose version of Christianity, to which, of course, I am included. The big problem here, of course, is that since Christianity has moved away from converting people by the sword to converting people via peace, it's seen a dramatic decline, such as in the UK, where over 50% of us now get a stench of bullshit when we put our nose near the Bible.
Don't waste my time. It's bullshit.
And talking of Islamic dawah, I'd say that if it wasn't for the sword that prevents reflection, let alone criticisms, then Islam would look much more like Christianity today. I'd bet we'd find out that the reports of nearly 100% of many countries being Muslims are not quite accurate. And if these citizens were able to peacefully research things without the threat of extermination, then they'd slowly, like the West, gain an ever-growing smell of bullshit when in close proximity to the Quran. Truly, I find Ali's position quite puzzling. She seems eager to get people like me to join her on her dawah, yet paradoxically, she implies that I'm already part of it due to my supposed Christian identity. Look, if Ali really wants solidarity and shared values, are there not better ways of achieving this? Wouldn't it be more inclusive and sensible to promote, say, civic national values, freedom, equality, and democratic government, to name just a few? Or perhaps, why not just be a humanist? Or, Champion Enlightenment values. Enlightenment values, like religions, transcend nations. They unite people across the globe who don't even share a language. They are much like religion in this sense. This approach would allow individuals from Muslim backgrounds to assimilate without the pressure of changing their faith. Plus, it would be more appealing to people who are critical of Christianity, like myself. If Ali took this route instead, surely her position would be a hell of a lot easier to understand and even endorse.
And you've got to put in the same level, if not more, effort into winning hearts and minds. And that story, that's the broader story of Christianity. And it can be done if we want to. It's a matter of will.
Well, there you have it. Ali left Islam due to its brutality and eventually turned to Christianity because of its supposed peace. And now she's encouraging non-Christian Christians like me to join her on her crusade. I'm really not sure what's going on here. It's as if Ali is completely unaware of how Christianity became a dominant world force, which was often through means that contradict the ideals of peace and love. Christianity, like Islam, played a substantial role in colonialism, serving as a justification for colonialization, as a moral duty to bring Christianity to indigenous populations, to save their souls for loving Jesus. This process frequently involved the suppression of local cultures, languages, and religious practices in favour of European Christian norms. Missionary efforts were not just about spiritual conversion, but were also deeply connected to political and economic interests. In fact, the establishment of Christian missionaries often coincided with the exploitation of resources and labour, and the imposition of new government systems aligned with Christian values. What's more, the education and indoctrination provided in missionary schools overtly aimed to reshape indigenous identities, replacing them with a Christian identity. This cultural conversion was part of a broader agenda of control and assimilation, all in the name of love. The fact of the matter is that when Christianity was at its most prolific, it looked a hell of a lot like the Islam that Ali despises. And when Christianity turned to peace, because it could no longer crush the freedoms of those under its heel, it lost power, and one such result is the UK today, where half of us just don't buy it anymore.
Don't waste my time. It's bullshit.
Now, to answer the title of this video, which lets you know that I am now a Christian, I presume it's clear. I'm not a Christian in the narrow sense of actually affirming the core tenets of Christianity, such as that Jesus died for my sins. No. But I am, according to Ali, a Christian in the broadest sense, a sense so broad, in fact, that it includes anyone in the West. Thus, her article may well have been titled, "Why You Are Now a Christian."